Hi, hey, and hello. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be going over my TBR and my wrap up. As you guys have probably seen, I don't usually do these two into one, but my reading for October, I had so much hope. I think it's one of the lowest reading months I've had in a while. I read 4 books, I believe. So I only read 4 books for October, and since it is such a low number, I decided I was just going to go ahead and throw it in with my TBR and make it all one video. And a couple of the books that are on my TBR for November are ones that were on it for October. I still have hope that I'll read them. It was just, I don't know. I think I was so busy this month that I just didn't have time for it. And then I started playing Dreamlight Valley, and that game is addicting. So that's basically all I've been wanting to do. But I have been feeling a little more into reading lately, so hopefully November will be a good reading month for me and I can knock some books off my TBR. If you have any book suggestions on things that maybe took you out of a reading slump or like really pulled your interest, feel free to drop them because I'm going to need them. So I think first I will go over the books that I read in October. So I'll do the first 2 that are really quick. I read 2 graphic comics. So I read Raven and then I read Beast Boy. This is in the Teen Titans series by Kami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo. And these are the covers. I did spray the edges on each of these. So there's the purple, and then we have Beast Boy's green. And then when they're stacked together, they'll have that. And then I do have the next one, which is in the series, which is Beast Boy Loves Raven. I haven't read this one yet, just to clarify. But the edges, I combined it. So this one is purple and green. That way, all together. It's cute. I kind of wish I would have done stripes, but for it being my first one of spraying multiple colors, I'll take it. I think it looks okay. Back to the original task at hand. So Raven is the first book, and then Beast Boy is the second one, and these are graphic comics. I rated both of them a 4. I really enjoyed the stories, and I really love what Kami and Gabriel did with the stories of it. I think if you watch Teen Titans growing up, I think this is something that you might be really interested in. I loved it. I've always really loved graphic comics, and I really loved the Teen Titans growing up. And I think it was maybe last year, maybe the year before, I did dress up as Raven for Halloween. But I did love each of these. They each kind of tell like a deeper background on each of the characters. So for Ravens, you do get like a background on kind of her learning her powers and what they mean and how to control it. And then with Beast Boys, you kind of see more of his like insecurities in this one and how he kind of grows into it a little bit. I really enjoyed both of these. I was very sad that I didn't read their book that is them together yet, but I just finished these the other day. Loved them. They were great. Highly recommend if you like the Teen Titans, if you like graphic comics. They're pretty quick reads and I love them. So there is 2 books down. The first book that I actually read for October was an ARC, and I ended up buying a physical copy of it. It is The House of Whispers by C. Hebert. And this is part of her like Living Nightmares series that she's making. This is the very first book. And I love this cover. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. So pretty. And the back is pretty too. It's got some designs. Now this is a dark romance, and you definitely need to look up the trigger warnings. There is a lot. It kind of, I don't want to say dark fairy tale because it is not portrayed as like a fairy tale. So it's like Jack the Ripper and Jekyll and Hyde, kind of like a twist to it. So I love this. For this being the first book that I read this month, you would have thought it would have like spiraled me into a really good reading kick. I believe I rated this 4.5. Let me look it up. Yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Definitely look up trigger warnings. I will say it is very much like a dark romance and kind of like a psychological thriller. The end definitely left me so like slack-jawed. Like what happened. It was just like crazy. I do have a quote that I wrote down from this, which is very short, and it's kind of, but I think it very much fits this. Well, obviously it fits. It's from the book, duh. But like the overall summary of the book, which is kind of funny because it's short, but it says, "This isn't fate, it's madness." And let me tell you, this book is madness in such a good way. But definitely if you don't like darker topics, dark romance, kind of twisted retellings and stuff like that, I wouldn't pick this up. This book is not for you. But if you love those things, you definitely need to check this out. I was so glad I snagged a hard copy of this since I loved it so much. I do want to kind of do a reread of it and tab some stuff. So, very high up. I do have a question. So when I review books and I show something and I say that, you know, you need to look up the trigger warnings, would you like it if I actually like told you what the trigger warnings are, or would you rather just look it up? I say that because I know sometimes when you look it up it can be kind of like a spoiler, so I don't want to give you that information and then someone get pissed at me for potentially spoiling something. But also, if it's dark romance, you should probably always look up the trigger warnings anyways, just because you never know. And then we have the last book that I read in October, which is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. The second I got this book in the mail, I knew I was basically going to tell my TBR to screw off and read this instead, because I have been waiting for this to come out for so long. I also believe this might be one of the few books from my TBR video for October that I actually read. So look at me checking one off. Oh, which does remind me, sorry, sidetrack, squirrel, you know. When I do my monthly wrap-ups, would you like it if when I did it, I compared it to the TBR that I had originally set and basically say whether or not I read those books, or do you not care at all? You will not hurt my feelings either way. I just wanted to know if it would be better for me to kind of recap what I put on my TBR and then say what I read and what I didn't read. So back to Wildfire. This is Russ and Aurora's book, and they are basically two camp counselors. But they do both go to the same college, and that is where they originally meet. They meet at a college party. They basically hook up, and she sneaks out of his bedroom because she thinks he wants him gone, whatever. So they think that's it. That's just basically going to be a one-night stand. Well, then they go to the summer camp where they're counselors, and they see each other, and they're basically in each other's group of the students, or not the students, sorry, the camp kids that they have to watch over. They're in the same group, so they are constantly in contact, and she basically thinks he kind of dislikes her at the beginning because he hasn't said anything, when in reality he's actually kind of shy. I will say in this, Russ took me for a surprise on, like, I guess he was laid back in the first book of this series, but in this he's kind of like, he's quiet and a little on the shy side. I loved how he acted when it came to Aurora. He definitely comes across like that he's nervous, but it's like in such like a cute way that I can like really appreciate it. And I thought they were a very good match for each other. It is said throughout the book that they both have daddy issues, but they both kind of use humor in a way as like a coping mechanism, and they bond over, I don't want to say their traumas, but they almost, it's like more of their healing process. I want to say they do help each other kind of heal and face problems, and I definitely loved the aspect of them coming together and standing up for each other in a way that no one else had for them. So I love this. I rated it 4 out of 5. And I am so excited for the next book in this series when it comes out, which obviously is going to be forever. I don't think there's an official date for that yet, but it will be Henry's book. And I love Henry. You do get glimpses of Henry in this, and it is fantastic. Okay, so now we are going to go over my TBR for November. I did keep it, I feel like I kept it shorter than normal because I still don't know if I'll be out of my reading slump or not. I also am going down to visit my mom in like a week or two, and then I might go on like a little solo trip, which if I do a solo trip, I think I might vlog it because I know I was talking to a couple people on Instagram and basically they were interested in like solo traveling. They've never done it and they're nervous, and this will be my first time too if I decide to do it. I don't have anywhere set in mind yet, but I'm definitely interested in it because I'm very into traveling, and I don't really necessarily have friends that are into traveling as much as I am, or they can't necessarily get away as much as I can. But I do want to explore more and kind of push myself out of my comfort zone too. I think that'll be nice. So I might vlog it if I do and let y'all know how the experience is. Let's get back into the main part of this, what you're watching for, which is books. So my TBR. The first two on my TBR is back to the Teen Titans comic series. I would really like to finish that. So I have the third one, which is Beach Boy Loves Raven, which is the one that I sprayed the edges. And then I have Robins. I haven't sprayed the edges on this one yet, but it will be red by the next time you see it. But I do want to finish the series. I'm very interested in this one because I want to see, like, I love romance, and even in comics, graphic novels, whatever, I need it. And I'm so excited to see, like, their story unfold. And then, of course, I'm excited for Robins because I know Robins, I'll have Robins, and then Starfire comes out next year, which makes me question if they will put Robin and Starfire together. Which I'm hoping. Like, I don't want that to change. Like, I like them together. So, very excited for these, and I will let you know how those go. Should be, ideally, 2 books that I can quick out and those ideally should be 2 books that I can knock out pretty quick. And then I have Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. And this is the second book in this series. The first book is Legends and Lattes, and I read that while I was on vacation this year, and I loved that book so much. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was definitely like a more comfy read. It was like a comfy fantasy read, and the like moral of the story was kind of like you should always treat people with kindness, and it was very cute, and I loved it. 4 stars. But so I met my friend at Barnes and Noble the other day. And originally I wasn't going to buy any books, but then I saw this on the table. And it's a Barnes & Noble exclusive, and I think that just means the flaps are what's different, because it is paperback. But it has flaps on each side. And they already had this book out, I think it was like October 29th, 28th, I don't know. Pick a day. Either way, it was early. And this book doesn't release until November, I want to say like 6th or 7th. And so I had to snag it while I could. This is super exciting. I think it's going to be another like cozy kind of telling. I will read the back really quick. Viv is a young, battle-hungry orc. But her career with the notorious mercenary company Rackham's Ravens isn't going as planned. Wounded during the hunt for a powerful necromancer, she's packed off against her will to recuperate in the sleepy beach town of Merk. So far from the action that she worries she'll never be able to return to it. What's a thwarted soldier of fortune to do? Spending her hours at a bookshop in the company its foul-mouthed proprietor is the last thing Viv would have predicted. But it may be both exactly what she needs and the seed of changes she couldn't possibly imagine. Still, adventure isn't all that far away. A suspicious traveler in gray, A gnome with a chip on her shoulder, a summer fling, and an improbable number of skeletons prove Merc to be more eventful than Viv could have ever expected. I kind of think this is supposed to be like a prequel to the first one, from what it sounds like, because Viv is in the first one, that she is the main character in that as well, and that book is like her coming down from her travels. So I want to say this is like a prequel, but I'm excited. I hope it is another like heartwarming book. Then another one, I shouldn't say another one, another 3 that I previously have listed on my October TBR. It's the Caraval trilogy. I really want to read this, and I'm still getting TikToks for it. I just was not in the mood to read it at all, and especially now that the 3rd book for the Once Upon a Broken Heart series came out, I want to read this even more. So I won't bore you and reread the summaries or anything like that, but I hopefully will be reading these, and I promise I will vlog it if I do. But the vlog will have spoilers, just be aware. And then I have Collide by Bal Kabara, which is a hockey romance book. And I believe I just talked about this book in, I think, one of my haul videos. I think the last haul video I did. There is a playlist in this book. We have Sunflower by Post Malone, Pretty Boy by Neighborhood Self-Care, Mac Miller, Daddy Issues by The Neighborhood. This looks like a really good playlist. I love when they provide the Spotify code for you to scan, so it automatically pulls up the list. And the back, it says, an ultimatum from her professor thrusts Summer Preston into an unexpected collision with hockey captain Aiden Crawford. She's caught in a delicate balance between fulfilling her lifelong dream of becoming a sports psychologist and veering far away from this god-awful sport. For Aiden Crawford, being the captain of the college hockey team has its perks, except when a reckless mistake by his team threatens to jeopardize their entire season. Consequently, his coach nominates him as the subject of a research paper. It's the last thing he wants to do, especially since the girl leading the project looks like she could wield his skates as a weapon. Summer can't stand his blasé approach to life, and Aiden doesn't understand her uptight, scheduled one. They are off to a rocky start, and provoking each other is what they do best. But defeat isn't something neither one of them is willing to accept. It's giving enemies to lovers vibe. I love hockey romance, so of course I had to throw hockey romance in here. And I am excited. I've seen pretty decent reviews over this, so I have a lot of hope. I think the cover is really cute. I'm excited. And then the last and final book that I have for my TBR, which I'm sure I will add more or read more. I just wanted to have room to kind of mood read a little and not put that pressure on myself yet. But last but certainly not least, because this will probably be the first book that I read from this, I have The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. And I have been waiting for this book to come out, and I'm so happy now that it is. And if you haven't read the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy, you will definitely want to before reading this. Garrett Graham is in that, and I believe his book is the first book. It's The Deal. And basically this is Garrett's daughter's book. This is Garrett and Hannah's daughter, and her name is Gigi. So we have Gigi Graham, and writer, I don't remember his last name, but I did pre-order this, so it came with goodies. So we have the good girl, Gigi Graham, forward center. Are you trying to do this so the light hits it right? And then the bad boy, Luke Ryder, forward center co-captain. I did pre-order, and I did it through one of the independent bookstores, and I got it signed. So excited. So excited to read this. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting, but it makes me nervous that I have this that hyped up in my mind. Gigi Graham has exactly 3 goals: qualify for the women's national hockey team, win Olympic gold, and step out of her famous father's shadow. So far so good, except for 2 little things. Fine, a little thing and a big grumpy thing. She needs to improve her game behind the net, and she needs help from Luke Ryder. Ryder is 6'5", built, opinionated, rude, and sexy as hell, but he's still the enemy. Briar's new hockey co-captain has his reasons though. The men's team just merged with a rival program, leaving Ryder with an angry roster where everyone hates one another's guts. To make matters worse, the summer coaching spot he's angling for with the legendary Garrett Graham is out of his reach after he makes the worst possible first impression on his hero. So really, this compromise with Gigi is win-win. He helps her make the national team. She puts in a good word with her dad. The only potential snag? This bone-deep, body-numbing, mind-spinning chemistry they're trying to ignore. It's a dangerous game they're playing, but the risk just might be worth it. I just want to read it right now. It is way thicker though than I thought it was gonna be. It is close to 500 pages. I am so excited. I don't think there's been any hint on whose book is next as far as I know. But I am so excited for this. I'm so excited to get little glimpses of like Garrett and Hannah. And I know Jake Conley is also in this. And I'm just, it's going to be so good. I have high hopes for this one. Alright, so that is my TBR for November. And I did leave myself some room so I don't have pressure. And I really hope it'll be a good reading month. And that I kind of really get back into reading. My room is finally coming together more. I'm sure you can see behind me now that it actually looks a little more put together. Although I still don't have a bed frame, so it is what it is. But I do have my shelves now filled in. So I'm thinking my next video might be a shelf tour. Because I have the one that's in here and then I have 4 that are in the office room. So I would include all of those. And if you guys have made it this far and watched everything, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. It means so much to me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.